long ago in a living room very much like yours, two women made up a podcast on how movies link up to each other, and they called it 6 Degrees of Feature Film.
Hello, I am Sigourney Weaver, and welcome to 6 Degrees of Feature Film podcast.
Oh my
Hey,
gosh.
I'm also known as Miss Movies.
Hey, I
And
love
to my
Sigourney
left
Weaver.
is Dory herself, Miss StacyOHoward.
What's going on? Oh, that was terrible. That was really bad.
How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. I'm glad to be back. I feel like
Yeah.
we've both been on trips,
Right?
and so now we're like back in the studio.
Yeah, last
Studio in
time
air quotes.
I saw you, you were sick, and now
Yeah.
I'm sick.
I know.
It's different sickness,
but
though. You don't
different
sound
si-
it.
I didn't pass it on to you.
No,
Okay, good. Just wanted everyone to know that it's not my fault.
no, it's
Don't
not your
blame
fault.
me. Okay.
But hey, we have a guest today.
Oh my gosh, so fun. Yay.
Hooray! Finally! I've been asking him since January to come on this show, and today is the day that he is here, and that is BaldBryan, also known as Bryan Bishop. Hello!
Hey, ladies.
Hi, Brian.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. He's talking to me.
Yes.
He's talking to me, Stacy.
Wouldn't
Those
it be great if
people.
I said nice to meet you to you?
It would be. It would be.
Yeah, you guys used to do a podcast together.
Brian still does that podcast.
Mhm.
It's called The Film Vault.
You were there since the early days.
I was.
We used to call you at your work.
I
I still have your work number.
Oh,
when I called
man.
you the other day, I looked, I'm like, I have Brian's work number? I'm like, oh,
Aw.
yeah, that's what we used to call her for the film vault.
Nostalgia.
I know,
So I would
middle of the
speak
day,
over a landline,
You
guys.
had to, like, escape from your desk. Or I didn't even know what you
Yeah.
were. I assumed we were at school.
Yeah, I was teaching elementary school. First grade was
Yeah.
what I was teaching when you guys would call me on the phone to
Her
do
cell
my
phone was
segment.
hardwired to the ground, which went to a pole. Or you on probably
I
an
don't
office
understand
phone.
this
I think I was on an office phone.
Okay, that makes more
I
sense.
think maybe that's what we did
Yeah.
because I was definitely sitting at my desk,
That makes a lot of sense.
and then my phone wouldn't cut out. So there you go.
That
But
is
I used
so
to do red light,
confusing.
green light, where I would pitch films that are in development, and then Anderson, your co-host, and Brian,
My
would
sidekick.
would decide whether or not these movies should go through. And sometimes some of those movies did fall through.
That was always nice when years later you'd come back and say, well, here's some movies you talked about in the past, and at the time they were just concepts, you know what I mean, or they were scripts, or they were pitched, or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, oh, There Will Be Blood. It's like, oh, what did we say about that?
know.
You both red lit. You didn't want to see that movie. You're like, oh, what have we
Really?
done?
You know what?
That's
One of the
my
ones.
favorites.
But
one-
we didn't know at the time. This is 2 years
Right.
before it came out. You know, we're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm not interested in seeing that.
One of the ones that I did when I was on the phone with you guys, the very beginning, so 2007,
Probably.
was the movie Cell, which just is coming out.
Oh,
The
interesting.
Stephen King one with John Cusack, which will be out by the time this podcast is out.
Interesting. Yeah, a
But
lot
yeah.
of times these movies are long in gestation. You'll hear about a movie that you being you, Brian, will have pitched a movie, quote unquote, that like started totally different people than actually ended up being in the movie, and a different director and different everything. So it's funny to track the lineage of what we thought at the time.
Right. They still do that, only they have a Miss Movies 2.0. I don't know if that's the official name.
Anderson calls her new and improved. I think it's rude, frankly.
How dare
How
he?
dare he?
But Diana Van de Kamp is delightful. So
It's
there you
our
go.
show. We talk a lot about old movies. We do top fives of movies past, and it's a nice way to get in new / upcoming movies, which we have no business talking about otherwise.
Right.
Oh, that sounds great. Subscribe.
And
You won't last long.
some people are going to have some time off because they're going to be fathers, both of the hosts of the
know.
show.
Anderson
So
is,
if you need a co-host, I know someone.
Mike Carano?
No, a female.
Okay.
We can both take over.
We
We're gonna
could.
take over the film vault.
That's
Nice.
it.
The film ball starring you two.
It's a crossover.
Anderson and I will be at home with our children. Yeah, we don't know what we're going to do in terms of, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll
Yes.
burn that bridge when we come to it.
Exactly. Or before you come to it, because it's going to get real crazy real quick.
I know. My wife's 10 weeks out and his wife is just a few weeks behind us.
When this
my
podcast comes out, you might already have a baby.
Oh, my God. Think about that.
What do you know?
Whoa.
Congratulations to me. She's beautiful, Brian.
Thank you for naming her Martha after Batman v Superman.
Martha.
All right.
Still can't even go over it.
So let's go through what we do here. We take one film and we show how 6 other films link up to it. So we talk about 7 films in total, sometimes go on crazy tangents.
All the time.
And, that's pretty much it. That's the main premise. It's
like
like a
it.
reverse bracket.
Yeah.
What is going on?
We always say that phrase, it's like a reverse bracket, and I still don't get it because I don't do sports brackets. And so I always say that. And people are like, oh, okay. But in my mind, I'm like, what the fuck am I talking about? It's still don't know what
Yeah,
it
we
means,
go from
really.
the winner to the losers.
Yeah, okay.
It's kind of like a more traditional bracket, though, because you start with one movie, right? And you end up with many more.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Yeah, but if you're in like
a root structure.
if you're in like a playoffs, though, you start with all the teams
That
and
is
then
true.
they seed them together, right? Like
Right.
And
this
then it goes
versus
down the line.
this, and then they get
I see what
whoever
you're
the
saying.
winner is.
It's the
then-
reverse of
yeah.
of a sports
Uh-huh.
bracket. Okay,
So yeah,
gotcha.
see how that goes.
I'm catching on.
But
All right.
this
I
is
should
a
listen to the
normal
show.
movie bracket.
You
Okay.
should. Anyways, Finding Dory is our feature film today.
Yay.
Hey, we all saw it.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Which
Gonna
I
do
have
that
seen.
like-
I have actually seen.
Me too.
You see a lot of films, though.
I do. Do you guys like Finding Dory? Did you talk about it on the show already?
Yeah, no, we haven't
No,
talked
we
about
haven't.
it. So let's discuss.
The hot take in sports, a hot take is like a knee-jerk reaction that doesn't have a lot of thought behind it. Like, oh, here, I'll tell you what, Stephen Curry didn't deserve to win the MVP. That's a hot take. That's a hot take. It doesn't have a lot of thought behind it. My hot take on this movie is very good, not as good as the original, but still very
Right.
enjoyable. But that's that now we have discussion beyond, the hot take. Like, what did we actually think
Yes.
of the movie?
I agree. I like Finding Nemo better, but I think the the thing with Finding Dory is there is part of a third act that just kind of goes a little bit Looney Tunes, where you're like in Finding Nemo, there was when he's in the bag and
Right,
stuff,
right,
and he's
right.
trying to get out. All of that seems like maybe it could possibly happen. Maybe.
Right. It's a fantastical version of
Yes.
probable event, plausible events.
But the whole events that take
Oh,
place
yeah.
with that truck and them going
Yeah,
to like
all those fish would have died. That truck went.
that was
like,
just too
no way.
fantastical
Okay.
for me.
And they
too
were like
much.
jumping between the tanks.
Just
and they
even
went
the
to muck
traffic
bucket, and I'm
itself.
like,
Right.
no,
I was like, by the time that they would have gotten to that truck, it would have already been gone.
Okay, so your problem with Finding Dory was the unrealism of the movie that stars talking fish.
Yes.
Let's just start at the beginning. These fish are not sentient
Speak
beings.
whale and can read. Where did she learn to read? How did she learn to read? I
don't know.
understand.
Which one? Dory?
Yeah.
Dory. I know.
That's
in the
true.
first one, I was like, how did she learn to read? In this one, I'm like, how did any of the fish learn to read? It
We
makes
should have
no sense.
a little flashback section where we flash back to Dory in school and just trying to
Oh,
teach her
yeah,
anything. Like,
sure.
imagine trying to teach Dory anything.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
I know those kids.
You do.
I do. They're all.
You must have had a few Dorys over in your time.
Sure. And you know what? I was a little nostalgic this year because my first ever group of first graders graduated from high school this year.
Hey, how about that?
Whoa.
Are you still in
So-
touch with any of them?
No, like I remember some full names of that first class. I won't say them here because,
Well,
whatever.
just say the last names and then the first name. So it's
No. So then
write them down for me.
I do remember some of those kids. And then but my next group, the one that will graduate this year, is the one that I remember more because of the fact that I had them in first grade and then I had them again in fourth grade because I
Okay.
switched up to fourth grade. So I'll probably go to
They're
the
a little more,
graduation
yeah.
ceremony
Oh,
to
sweet.
like maybe see them
Are they all
graduate.
more or less at the same school? I have to assume.
They're probably most likely.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
There's only 2 high schools in Burbank. So and their ceremonies are back to back. So I could just
so
stay.
it'll be easy to.
Yeah.
Okay. Pull that
Super
off.
easy. Anyways, back to Finding
Local
Dory.
news.
So Dory, baby Dory was the cutest thing ever.
So
And that
cute.
voice. I
Oh
loved
my
the baby
gosh.
Dory
That's pretty
voice.
cute.
Who did the baby Dory voice?
I don't know. I
again?
didn't write it down.
I can't remember.
A little child.
They had to get a new
Probably.
actor to do Nemo because the original actor obviously is
Right.
an adult now.
That's right.
20 years, something years later.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
he
it
does
makes
make
sense.
a
He has a man's
cameo.
voice.
He does make a cameo. He
does?
is something
Mhm.
else
He
in
is.
the movie.
Yeah.
He's like one of the drivers, I think.
He's
I mean, I guess he's
Passenger Carl.
aquatic life.
Passenger
Oh,
Carl.
he's not a fish.
Right.
No.
Yeah,
He
I think he's
graduated.
a human.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's one of the truck drivers. Who
He
knows?
is. Yes.
That's so cool. I like that they brought him back. Like
That's some real
you're-
Buddhist reincarnation shit right there.
I know. But he has emerged
Yeah, he's.
as a human being now who is now going to eat fish.
And whoever took
Oh.
over as Nemo did a good job of like having a similar. They casted it well where
Sure.
it has a similar sound, but
I
not
didn't
like
notice it until I did the research
Yeah.
afterwards. Like, oh yeah, obviously that guy's an adult now. He's not gonna do the same voice.
right.
Yeah,
Which is
for
the
sure.
problem when you you can cast an adult to do a child's voice. I mean, Bart Simpson is kind of the
Mhm. Yeah,
you
Nancy
know.
Cartwright.
she does
That's
a
her,
really
right?
good job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've met her. I went to a Simpsons table read. I got
Nice.
to meet her, and she was really nice. She's a Scientologist, so they're all very nice and friendly,
Hmm?
you know. And she'd walk around and be
Sure.
like, "Hi, I'm Bart Simpson," and I'd be like, "Oh my god!" Like freaking out. She was so cool. Yeah.
I've only had good experiences with Scientologists, and that's not a joke. I mean, the people I've met who are Scientologists have all been extremely nice. I have never talked shit about them and thus given them a reason to terrorize my life.
Sure.
But to this point, they've all been very, very
Yeah,
nice.
they're all
Cool.
very
Can you bleep that
friendly.
out, please, so they don't terrorize my life?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, please. I don't want a what's it called? What's the
I don't know
going
what it's
clear
called.
situation going on?
Right.
Where they're like at my doorstep.
We're now going to be watched. We're on the
On
watch,
the
watch
list.
list.
Great.
Okay.
At least someone will watch us.
My life is meaningless. Anyway, Finding Dory. They were originally gonna have this at a like a water theme park. Not
Okay,
theme park,
sure.
What am I trying to say? Like SeaWorld kind of thing.
Right.
But then they saw
Blackfish.
the documentary Blackfish, and they were like, "Ooh,
Which
make it
I
a-
did
make it
talk
a
about.
Refuge
yeah." So they made it like a marine
sanctuary,
life
basically.
sanctuary thing.
Mhm.
So, which that was a good move. But Blackfish came out. What was that? 2010.
Let's
I
go
Something
with
like
cool.
that.
Let's go with
yeah.
that.
Something like that.
'Cause I guess it's 6 years later. I was just wondering, like, what if they had to like scramble and like redo the whole movie just because of Blackfish?
Well, this movie came out 13 years after the first one, so I think
I think
they
were good.
probably had enough time.
Yeah, but I'm trying.
At
I'm trying to
least
think
6
of like
years.
But I
how
think it
long ago
was.
Blackfish
But I think it
was.
was Blackfish that precipitated probably the change from, you know what I mean, from a marine park to a sanctuary.
Right.
But I'm guessing they probably had enough time. I know these things take forever, but they must have had enough time.
I like that they did that marine sanctuary thing though, because it's like a smaller environment, and if they had done just the whole ocean again, it would have been like, we've already done this, we've
Mhm.
already gone through
Right.
this. But now that it's in a little park, it's there's different opportunities.
It was
for
cute.
it. Mm-hmm.
I liked the stroller scene.
Yes.
Yes, hang on to your stroller,
Right.
Mhm.
Brian,
Good to know.
because marine life is coming for it.
That's right.
And I liked
Octopus.
Hank
I was about to say
as
we need to
the
talk about Hank.
octopus.
Hank, as we talked about on the film vaults, there could be a Finding Hank, and I would be in line for that movie.
Yes.
I want to see more of Hank.
Hank
For
was a good
sure.
character, and I like that he has only 7 tentacles.
That's
because
right.
they said that 8 would make him just look weird.
He's a septopus.
So,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
probably why he's, not allowed to go to Detroit or wherever that place
right.
was.
That's right.
Where-
Cleveland.
Love
Cleveland.
that. I love that you wanna go to
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Have you guys ever seen that YouTube video that's like the song about Cleveland?
No.
It is hilarious. You have to Google this.
Not
Okay.
I laugh for a long time every time
Cleveland
they've done.
video.
It's like, I know the song. I could sing it. I'm not going to because it would be embarrassing.
Okay, please don't. I'm sure there's a better version on my phone.
Please
There
refrain
is.
yourself.
There is.
Spare us, please.
Has the podcast started yet?
Yeah, we're into it.
Yeah,
We're about 20
We're like
minutes in
20
already. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Hi, I'm
Welcome.
Sigourney Weaver.
I
Which-
like that it had Dominic West and Idris Elba.
Yes, let's bring
Again.
The Wire back
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Although, Brian, have
I'm
you
not sure
seen
what
The
that
Wire?
is.
Yeah, no.
But
Oh,
Idris
man.
Elba is fast making appearances in all animated films now, which is good. Guy's got a good voice.
Yeah, he was in Zootopia, and
Mhm.
then
He was in Jungle
The
Book.
Jungle Book. Yeah.
Mm.
Which I need to see.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's close it up on Finding Dory unless you have any other last thoughts.
I'm
going
gonna
to
look up my notes on Finding Dory because I'll see if I have anything remarkable to add.
No.
Got dusty once or twice in theater. I'm not gonna lie. We got a little dusty.
What would be dusty for you when,
There-
she
there-
gets back? With
I don't know how
them.
spoilerific we want
We
to.
go.
Yeah, we go spoils.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
there-
I mean,
there's
this will
an-
come out in September, so.
There's an end. The movie's called Finding Dory, and Dory gets found, and it's
Mhm.
the way it happens, the way it's sort of laid out, literally, no pun intended. The way it's laid
Mhm.
out, how they find Dory is
Right.
it's very sweet, and it's a nice little button on her whole journey
Right.
and arc over 2 movies.
I want to
And,
know how old she was, how a fish's life going from that little baby fish to the size
I
that
don't
she
know.
is. How long is that?
They said it was years because I know the events from Finding Nemo to now Finding Dory. It had been a year that
Okay.
had passed, so I know that there was that 1 year. But I don't know how long it was
Before
before that.
that.
Like you said, when she was a baby and she got lost, and then she kind of grew up a little bit trying to find her parents, and then ran into
Yeah.
Nemo and Marlin.
Right.
Like how long had passed? Like was it like 8 years? I want to say.
I wish there was a little thing at the bottom that was like
Yeah, like
1
a
year
timeline.
later.
I feel like fish time is different than
Yes.
human time.
Right.
Up
It's like
here,
dog years.
Yeah, it's something
Yeah.
like that. Although maybe different aquatic life experience time differently. For a whale or something, who probably has a lifespan
Yes.
of 100-something years.
Yeah. Or
If
like
only
a sea
Anderson was
turtle.
here.
I know, he's the marine biologist.
He's a marine biologist. for
Oh
God's sake.
man, I invited the wrong person.
Yeah, seriously.
What?
Dang.
Oh.
Yeah, no idea. But I think they said years, so.
I do know that Dory has 25 million likes on Facebook and is the most liked character for any Disney film.
What does
on
Dory
Facebook.
do on Facebook?
I don't know.
Aside from tweet about her movie.
I mean, honestly,
Or
it could be
tweet,
anything.
Post about her movie.
My husband was the Facebook page for The Notebook for a long time. And like he
His claim to
drove
fame.
sales up
His claim
for
to
The
fame.
Notebook.
I'm sure.
So
Okay.
he would just post things like his first post as the Notebook was a heart. That's it. And it got so many,
So many
likes. I was
likes.
like, what?
Wait,
It's
I'm s-
insane.
I need to explore this a little further.
Okay.
Was he posting as an anthropomorphized notebook, like the
No,
Notebook would
no,
post,
no,
or is
no.
he the Notebook of the movie?
The movie.
Okay, because that'd be sweet if he was the character of the Notebook. Like journal entries. It's all journal entries and notebooks, scribblings.
Someone's writing in my paper. Ow, it hurts.
Exactly.
Ow, ow. Like,
Dog-eared again. # case of the Mondays.
oh, this podcast.
So there it is. Finding Dory. Thanks, guys.
Oh,
So we're going to link to our next two films, and the link that I chose was Pixar films where the characters try to find their way home. Now, let me just preface by saying there are a ton of Pixar movies where the character is trying to find their way home or is lost and needs to get somewhere.
It's a very standard trope.
That is pretty much what they do.
It's the tropiest of tropes,
Mm-hmm.
which is not a bad thing.
Or they're trying to find something.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not lost, but they're trying to find something and they don't necessarily know their way to
Right.
that thing.
For any
So-
listeners who are desperate to be screenwriters or filmmakers in general, but any kind of writer, study Pixar films because they are just they're bread and butter stories, but they're done super well.
Mm-hmm.
They did it very
Exactly.
well.
So we could have picked Toy Story. Any of the Toy Story movies. They're
Sure.
all
Mm-hmm.
they're all that.
Inside Out is a great example. I'm sorry, I didn't
Exactly.
wanna step on any of your
Inside
future
Out,
ideas, but Inside Out is a
yes.
great example of this.
Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm. It's all about the journey, and
It
you can
is.
always sympathize with that.
I don't know about The Good Dinosaur. Is someone
I didn't
lost
see
trying
that
to
one.
find their way somewhere? Anyone
I have
know?
not seen
Yeah.
all of the
Okay.
animated.
I thought it was. Isn't the little boy trying to find his family or something?
I don't know what
I
he's
don't know.
doing.
I didn't see the movie.
I
Can tell
didn't
you.
either. Oh, good. I'm glad we're all talking
Yeah.
about
Do you
this.
guys
Much like
see-
America, we didn't see
yeah,
it.
Disney documentaries. It's called Monkey Kingdom.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. I saw it with my girlfriend. And we were at this. It was, I guess, it was like an IMAX thing. And these monkeys, like, they go over the story of everything. And like, one is like on the bottom branch. She's like, you know, just bottom of the food chain, whatever.
Okay.
And all the other lady monkeys are like picking on her. And she has a little baby. And the dad like just came in and like slept with her and then left. And so
Right.
she's like stuck with
I
this
love
little
how they
baby
like
monkey.
dramatize
Very
it.
mature thing.
Oh,
Yes.
I was like, and then towards the end, she like made her way up towards the food chain. Now
Okay.
she has like all the good branches and like the good bananas for her little baby. And I was like losing my mind and just like waterworks and just so emotionally invested in the lives of these monkeys. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I don't know if you guys have seen that,
I
but
have
that's
not.
a good Disney movie right there. Monkey Kingdom.
Oh,
So watch it.
I feel like I've seen it now.
Watch it right now.
How long
Tina-
ago was that?
this was like
90s?
No. This was like last year.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it just came out. Tina Fey was the voice. So they like obviously observed monkeys for like 2 years and then made up a story around all their
I love
observations.
that. I love Meerkat Manor.
Oh, it's just like that's so good. Or like March of the Penguins.
Yes.
Yes, all that stuff. It's
Animals,
so
am I right?
yeah, we're all animals, right?
So let's go on to Cars, because that's a Pixar film where the characters are trying to find their way home, or at least one character is
Okay.
trying to find his way home. This came out June 9th, 2006. It's about a hotshot race car named Lightning McQueen who gets waylaid in Radiator Springs. Is that how you'd say that? Anyways, where
I
he
think so.
finds the true meaning of friendship and family.
Aw, that's
Written and directed by John Lasseter and Joe Ranft, and had 7 additional writers, which really does show.
It's a collaborative process.
Starring Owen Wilson, Larry the Cable Guy, Bonnie Hunt, Paul Newman, as well as others. And it was nominated for 2 Oscars. Best Achievement for Original Song, which is Our Town, which actually, I will say I have the soundtrack to this for my children, and Our Town sucks. In my opinion.
Okay.
And
You're allowed to give your opinion on your show.
it was also nominated for Best Animated Feature Film of the Year. The budget was $120 million and grossed $462 million. My son loves this movie. We watched this plenty of times. However, both of my children love Cars 2 more.
Really?
And that's why they're up for adoption.
Your husband must love cars.
He likes Cars. Yeah. Cars 2, we both decided was like, this
Okay.
is the worst thing that's ever happened. And both of them lobbed onto it so quickly that I was like, no, please don't.
Are you sure
Don't.
they're yours?
That's what I'm saying. That is why they're up for adoption currently.
I don't want to adopt them.
Okay.
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 We've established that. Going into foster care.
It's going to be one of those things where it's like, we bid on them.
Right.
So
Drive the price up.
$5. Anyways.
This is my uncle's favorite, probably movie of all time, or
Really?
at least animated movies.
Really?
Yeah. So my country bumpkin uncle, who I am from Texas, and I do have a lot of family that is very country bumpkin. They live out in the middle of nowhere in a trailer, and they love NASCAR. And
Right.
they have an above ground pool outside where he grills in just his Speedo, and he'll grill jalapeno poppers. Very well educated, well traveled man, but that's the lifestyle that he leads, and he loves it. And he loves this movie, and I think he just loves that whole racing culture and everything. And he loves
right.
Tomater, and that's he is Tomater. He talks just like that. He has a very, very thick Southern accent. It's really, really.
It took me a while
just
to
like
put
him.
together Toe Mater.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Revelation.
I don't know why
And
it
now
took
you
me a while.
appreciate the movie in a whole new way.
I know. But you know what's also good though?
What?
Something that did come out of this that I think is delightful is called Mater's Toe Tales. This was on Disney Channel, and it would be
Okay.
like interludes, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, little short
Okay.
films that they would throw in every so often between shows. And it would just be like crazy things that Mater has done, and it's pretty cute.
Mhm.
That's something I would check out.
The
sure.
the ride at Disney Adventure California is wildly popular.
So
it's been
fun.
so hard that the one
Yes,
2
Radiator
times I've been
Springs
there,
Racers.
I've not been on the
Yes.
ride because it's so incredibly popular.
You have to get a fast pass. That's the first thing you have to do. For
People say
Radiator
run over
Springs.
that and go. I was like, all right.
It's like
is it
that and
is
Space
it that great of a
Mountain and-
ride?
It is that great of a ride. It is. It is. It's not. I put the Toy Story game ride above that.
Okay.
But that is the next one
Okay.
for sure because it tells a story.
Okay. Cars came up on the Adam Carolla show just a couple days. Maybe by the time this podcast goes up, it'll be a long time ago. But as we're recording, literally like a day and a half ago, I think it came up. And came up with context. Adam Carolla has the theory, and I think it's actually, by and large, it's a interesting theory, and I think it's actually kind of true, which is, as it pertains to Rotten Tomatoes and the scores that movies get, certain movies are penalized a little bit because their subject matter or because of some PC, the critic community leans a little bit one way, and they'll give movies a little higher score that are about a certain subject matter and a little lower score than other subject matter, and I can kind of see that. It makes sense. But his theory then, his example was, I was looking at Cars' score, and it was like, I don't know, whatever it was, whatever the Cars, you probably look it up, but this, let's say it was 80%. And I was looking at Finding Nemo, and it was like 92%. And you got to understand that Cars is about, cars, and none of the critics are car guys, and that's why the score's lower. Thank God Matt Atchity, the Rotten Tomatoes editor-in-chief, was in studio at the time, and he was like, no, Cars is a good sports movie, and Finding Nemo is like a movie that's like transcendently great about life and about parents and kids, and it has some deeper meaning, whereas Cars is a fine sports movie about an underdog and this and that, and it's like, I thought this example was poor. It's funny that it came up just 2 days ago, but Cars is a fine movie, but there are much, much better examples, Finding Nemo for example, of Pixar movies specifically.
Right. At first I thought you were going when you said there's this theory. I thought you were going to say that this is the sequel to Maximum Overdrive. That's what I thought you were going.
Movie?
Yes.
Oh wow.
That's where I thought you were going.
That is way too deep.
Because if you think about it, like when the cars take over.
Okay. I've not seen Maximum Overdrive.
This is like way in the future, like many years after Maximum Overdrive happened.
Okay, all right.
Right? No people. The cars have taken
We're in a
over.
dystopian future.
Yeah, let's just pretend that that's what it actually is, because I like that. Now, isn't this also it's the same story as that other one with Michael J. Fox, Doc Holiday.
Doc Hollywood.
Doc Hollywood.
Wait, wasn't that a movie with Michael J. Fox?
Yes, but
Yeah.
I don't remember
And
that.
it's
remember
like
that
a
either.
hot shot doctor comes
Okay.
to a small town.
Oh, Matt
And,
actually brought that up. He's like, it's basically Doc Hollywood.
Yeah, no, people have said that.
Whoa,
He really
Stacy, you are
Whoa,
in Matt Atchins'
Yeah.
mind.
on
You
fire.
gotta
on fire.
tweet him this link to this episode when it comes
Yeah,
out.
I know. Be like, I told you, Doc Holliday, or whatever it's called. Yeah. No, for sure. That's why I remember seeing that movie a long, long time ago, and then I saw this, and I was like, hey, I think I've seen the plot of this movie before.
So yeah, Cars is a fine movie. There's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. It's enjoyable. It's fun.
Right.
Little kids like it.
Mhm.
But it is a
Country
clear. We
uncles
agree.
like
It's a clear step below the best of the Pixar bunch, right?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Of course.
Okay. Make sure we're all on the same page.
I would not put that as my number one. What I might put close to my number one, if not number one, would be Toy Story 3, which is what we're going to talk about
Yes.
right now.
It's pretty
So
brilliant.
Toy Story 3. Great
pretty
segue,
great.
right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well done.
So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Also, though, you know what? I would actually probably say my number one would be Toy Story and then Toy Story 3.
That's fair. Toy Story
probably
is,
where I'd put it.
just for what it was, it's setting the table for all these great movies.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. This came out June 18th, 2010, 15 years after the original, 11 years after the second one.
Was this up for Best Picture?
I believe it
Yes.
won Best Animated Feature,
Oh, but
and
Best
it was
Anima-
also up for
That's
Best
what I mean,
Picture.
yeah,
Yes.
I remember how
Correct.
I do. I don't know if you know this about me, Brian. I do a
I-
fair amount of gambling on the Oscars,
Right.
and
yes.
this was as big a lock as there has ever been to win Best Animated Feature.
Well,
Most
yeah.
sites weren't taking any action on it because it was
Obviously,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the fact that it's nominated for Best Picture. I
it
mean,
was ipso facto
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
win.
I get it.
It's the finale of this epic journey
Yeah.
of toys and childhood.
hmm
And I've
Is
talked
it the
about
finale though? I saw Toy Story
there's
4
Toy Story
is
4
up.
coming out. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know. I just felt like Toy Story 3 was perfect, but I always want to see more Toy Story stories and movies
Right.
because I love the franchise.
And you had said before that this is because we talked about Toy Story.
Yeah.
You have said before that this franchise like kind of mirrored your age growing
Yeah,
up too.
because Toy Story 1 came out in 1995 when I was 5 years old. And
Okay.
so that was the time
Oh,
when,
Jesus Christ, I'm doing the
Um,
math.
like, the
Me too.
you know, imagining it when I was that age,
Yeah.
I kind of in my mind, I was like, I wonder if my toys are alive. And I would make little stories up for them and everything.
You were born in
and then-
1990.
Uh-huh.
How did you guys meet? Were you her student at one point?
I was not. No, I just graduated high
Hey!
school, actually.
Hey now.
No,
Congratulations on your
Twitter.
upcoming graduation, Burbank High School. Brianne will be there.
No, and then Toy Story 3 came out, and Andy was about to graduate and go off
Mhm.
to college. I was in my junior year of college, I believe, and about to, enter senior year, graduate, all that stuff. So I was again in that moment of my life where you're transitioning, you're growing up, you're leaving other things behind, trying to hold on to old friends, old memories, but also move on to the new. And so the whole premise of these stories and this whole franchise really did follow along with people my age, and it like hit me hard, like that final scene and I think this is the greatest message about this franchise is that you never really lose your childhood. You just grow up and kind of pass it on to someone else. So Andy passed on his
Right.
toys to another kid who's going to make up new adventures, and you never lose that sense of self, that childlike
Yeah.
wonder. And I really like that about these movies.
My wife is already stocking our daughter's crib with all of her old, what does she love? My Little Pony and all
I was
these.
gonna say Strawberry
Yeah,
Shortcake.
Strawberry Shortcake and all this
Yeah.
nonsense. Like, let her have her own childhood.
Yeah.
It's like, no, she'll have
Well,
mine.
A lot of that is back, anyways. Like My Little Pony is big,
You're telling me.
and
Oh, that's like a fetish thing too, isn't
You're
it?
telling me.
well, there's that. But then there's plenty of My Little Pony movies that my daughter enjoys, and like I'm
They're
not
not
gonna
just for
lie,
kids.
they have really good songs. The guy
Really?
that wrote all the songs for the My Little Pony movies really needs more recognition because
I'm gonna
they
need
are
some tips on
incredible.
Yeah, stuff like this for little girls, because if I'm gonna be surrounded by it, I at least want to have some decent songs.
You obviously know Tara Strong, right? I mean, she's like the voice of every single character on Cartoon Network, and
Why would I know that?
I don't know, but I figured you know
You
voice
obviously know
actors.
Tara- I mean, I probably do know of her. I probably recognize her.
I'm
voice.
sure, once you have a kid, you're gonna know who Tara Strong is
Okay.
because she does every single voice, and then you'll
Sounds
be
like
like,
an adult film star.
no.
Okay. I'm just saying the name.
I mean, no.
Okay, I'm gonna go with it.
But she is one of the ponies. She's yes,
She's one of the main
One of the
ponies.
ponies. One of the main ponies. Twilight Sparkle. Anyways, I like the ponies.
Sure.
Oh, do you?
And I didn't as
Do
a
you
kid
like to
though.
ride those ponies?
But I didn't like that wasn't something that I grew up with. Like Gem was something I grew up with, but yeah, not My Little Pony.
Yeah, I didn't grow up with My Little Pony. I grew up more
Pound
with
Puppies was another one.
Puppies.
Did you
I
know
loved
Pound
Power
Puppies?
Well, by the time you were a
Rangers.
little girl, it was My Old Busted Pony.
Yeah.
Like that wasn't a
There
little
you go.
pony
Old
anymore.
ass pony
That's
with
right.
like a gray tail.
Busted wrinkled pony. Grape.
Anyways, back to Toy Story 3
yeah,
kids.
what are we talking about
Toy
again?
Story 3. So it also won an Oscar for Best Original Song, which was We Belong Together.
Was it the Randy Newman song?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay too, right?
Right.
I think so.
It was.
Yeah.
It lost, and sound editing, but it lost to The King's Speech for Best Picture. Also nominated that year was Inception and The Social Network.
That is going to be a dark period in film history when you look back and The King's Speech beat those movies.
Right. Just like Shakespeare in Love, beating out
I
some
like
great
the King's
things.
Speech, though.
No, King's Speech sucked. Well, King's Speech was a good movie, but I myriad problems with that. But I'm gonna be contrarian and say that I like Shakespeare in Love. I defend Shakespeare in Love.
I like Shakespeare in Love.
I was an English major, so I read a lot of Shakespeare, and I appreciate a lot of the very clever references.
Mm-hmm.
Very subtle references too. Some obvious ones and some very subtle ones that I didn't even know about until people in my class. Because I was in school at the time, in college, people were like pointing them out to me, like, "Did you know that's that?" I'm like, "Oh, that's quite inventive, actually."
I do like that Shakespeare in Love spawned the short film George
Lucas
Lucas
in Love. That's right.
Yes, that is
Also
delightful.
clever.
I haven't
It
seen
was.
this.
Oh, yeah, track that down.
You know what? It might be on YouTube or Vimeo.
I'm almost positive it's on YouTube. I think I
Uh,
watched it recently.
Can,
It was-
can you buy it?
You
or
can.
Like it's just there.
You should be able
I
to
think
because
it's
I
just-
bought it on VHS.
Yeah, I
I'm
had
not
VHS
joking.
too.
What's it about though?
It is.
It's
well, go
how
ahead.
he made Star Wars, like the inspiration behind Star Wars, all the
Like,
things
is he
around
in it?
him.
Did he make it? or,
No,
like-
but the guy who plays him looks exactly like George Lucas.
Oh, you're explaining
Oh.
this like a girl.
I thought
Oh,
it was like
I'm
a
sorry.
documentary.
Imagine. Yes, thank
Okay.
you. I'll start at the beginning. Imagine
Yes,
Shakespeare
continue.
in Love,
Uh-huh.
but instead of Shakespeare, it's George Lucas, and it's set in 1975 at USC.
Okay.
Yes.
So, it's
it-
not a documentary. It's
No.
like a movie
It's
where someone
fantastic. Yeah,
plays
it's a
George
short film,
Lucas.
exactly. A young George Lucas, and he meets a young girl who looks exactly like Princess Leia, and they encounter people who look exactly like
Yes.
this and
Han
that.
Solo.
There's lots of
Cute.
references. It's extremely clever, and I think it was that got that guy like a production deal or something.
It had to
It was a
have.
big,
Cool.
at least in our community, it was a big deal.
I'm gonna have to check that out. What's it called again? Lucas in Love.
George Lucas in Love.
George Lucas in Love. Okay,
There
will
you
do.
go.
Clever.
Everyone check it out. Cool.
It has the added benefit if you know USC. The land, it's shot on USC's
Right.
campus. It's a student film essentially. Essentially, I don't know if the
I
guy
think
was
it
a
was.
student. Yeah, so a lot of references and things you'll recognize.
Cool. Cool.
Or maybe not anymore now that
Actually,
USC
that's a
looks
good
so
point.
different.
It's changed a lot.
It has changed a ton.
Fun fact. So Big Baby's one line in the
Right.
entire movie,
Saw this.
Mama. The crew had a bunch of babies audition for this, and the only one that got it right that they really liked was named Woody. Isn't that cute?
That is cute.
Yeah. Who names their baby Woody, by the way? Just saying.
Like, what is that? Woodson? Is that
Woodrow.
Woodrow?
That's a hipster
okay.
name, like Atticus.
Atticus is a good name.
I like Woodrow, though. But
So is Martha. So thanks.
yeah,
Good job.
still not over that. Still not over that.
I do. You know what? One thing that popped
What's
up in this film that wasn't in the previous is Ken, and I really liked him, and I liked that he had so many different outfits. Exactly 21. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. And also voiced by Michael Keaton.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
I loved Ken in this. He was my favorite part when he does his dance.
Dance,
and he like
yeah.
spins the body and the head. I'm like, wow! Every time. I think it's hilarious.
I like that they
Yes,
keep
that's
upping. It's not just references to the old movies as Toy
Mhm.
Story goes on. They keep upping the game. That's what made Toy Story 3 so great.
Right. And then when Buzz gets stuck in Spanish mode, it's pretty great.
That's
Right.
the best.
And then he does like that flamenco dance.
Flower. Oh, it's the. Oh, and it wasn't it. Antonio Banderas does the Spanish voice.
Probably.
I think so.
He does every Spanish voice.
He does. He's Puss in Boots. Come on.
I remember when they were caught in the incinerator at the end. I really, like an idiot. I'm like, wow, how are they going to get out of this? Like,
Right?
Like there wasn't going to be a way. I
Oh,
was like,
when
wow,
they
how's
all
this gonna
What
go?
if it ended
hands.
bad like that?
I
I mean,
a little
it
part of me
could've.
thought it might. I'm like, wow, maybe they're burning it all down.
huh?
Oh my gosh! When they all join
They
hands,
could
and are,
have.
Like
like
an idiot.
prepared to die together, and like the music, like,
Oh, yeah.
and I'm like, like snot was coming down the nose. Like I was so in an emotional place, and
Right.
then the claw, just like the hand of God, just comes down and is like, "Life, I shall save you," and you're like, "Oh It's the best.
That would have been a good jump off for me, was movies that made you ugly cry.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't ugly cry at Toy Story 3, but I've had some ugly cries at movies, unfortunately.
Ugly cries are the best, and it's like as long as like no one's with me, like I'll just let it all run. But I've had an ugly cry with a date.
Ooh.
And so I was like, don't look at me. And he's like, you're fine. I'm like, no. And it was just, no, it wasn't very good. But he didn't ask me out again. What are you going to do?
She's an emotional
Well,
broad.
Yeah, whatever. Too high
Don't know if I
maintenance.
can handle this.
Yeah.
Carry around the much tissue.
Yeah. I can't afford it.
Well, there you go. Toy Story 3.
There you go.
I loved it.
So when do we jump off?
All right.
You can jump off from here. So far we've talked about Finding Dory. Then we linked it to Pixar films where a main character is lost and needs to find their way home. And we linked that to Cars as well as Toy Story 3. And now Bryan is going to, off of Cars,
I have
link to
two
other
from Cars.
films.
I don't know which
Perfect,
one.
yes.
I don't know which one to
You're
do.
supposed to do both.
Okay, first. Cars
What's your
was,
link? What's your
Cars
link?
was nominated for Best Animated Feature, but did not win.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Much like
the Lego Movie.
The Fantastic Mr. Fox. Was Lego Movie up for Best Animated Feature?
Oh, no, it wasn't.
It
That's
wasn't.
right. It
That
was
the big
snubbed.
controversy.
Just the best song, I think. Everything
Which
else.
I think
Everything
it
is a
won.
song.
It won
I think
that,
it
right?
did, yeah.
Okay, anyway. Just like Fantastic Mr. Fox, which
Uh-huh.
lost to Up in 2009. Kind of understandable. Up was a very
Right.
good movie. I thought Fantastic Mr. Fox was a little better, but understandable. Not understandable to me was another movie that was nominated for Best Animated Feature but did not win, Wreck-It Ralph, which I loved.
I didn't
loved.
see.
Ralph's
Didn't
What?
see.
How was your
Yes.
husband
You are
not
gonna
made you
love
watch that movie? He must
I
have seen
don't
it.
know, and he has not seen it either.
What?
Because
I
it's
cannot-
video, and it's video games, and
Wait
you
a minute.
think we'd
I
totally
cannot
be all over
envision
that.
a more Jeff movie than Wreck-It Ralph.
We will watch it tonight.
That is
for
unbelievable
you.
to me.
Do it.
You've seen it.
Yeah, of course I have.
That is unbelievable
I
to
don't
me.
even play video game. I
Your
never played a
kids are
video game
gonna-
in
oh
my
my
life,
God.
and I've seen Wreck-It Ralph.
Wreck-It Ralph was fantastic. It lost to Brave in 2012, which I did not like Brave. I wanted to like Brave. I was like,
Okay.
oh, cool. This is good. No, not good. I think it was a case of the Academy voters not getting a lot of the references. There are video game references throughout, from the 80s up till almost modern video games, all throughout, and as well as other, and not just those references, but there are many of them, and I think it was too hip for the room. The Academy is notoriously old and white and stodgy, and I don't think they got a lot of the video
that
games.
is changing.
And it's changing.
Thank goodness.
I don't know. I think it's too late for Wreck-It Ralph.
Well,
Lost
yes.
3 years ago. Directed
We're
by
gonna go back.
Directed by Rich Moore, director, a longtime Simpsons director, also director of Zootopia after the fact, of course. So Rich Moore has quite the lineage. But Wreck-It Ralph is a fantastic movie, and that was a real robbery, in my opinion. Brave was... I've seen Brave. I remember almost nothing about it. Meanwhile, Wreck-It Ralph, only I think of things all the time from that movie. King Candy, Alan Tudyk? I'm King Candy. He's fantastic as the bad guy. Sarah Silverman is the main character.
She's wonderful.
She's so great. Corolla's in it. He's a donut cop.
Yeah.
With Horatio Sands, they're like the cops with their donuts. It's so great. It's a very inventive, very clever movie that isn't just video games. It's a whole fantasy world, but populated by video game characters. And
Does it have Pokemon?
there's so much and I often but I often confuse references with the Lego movie.
Okay.
I can't remember if Pokemon makes an appearance or not. There's all, I
I don't think he does.
Donkey
I think,
Kong's in
I'm
it
sure
and-
Pac-Man does.
yeah, all the
and-
classics. And,
Yeah, I don't think Pokemon does.
oh man,
though.
you
Got it. Because that Pokemon Go, kids.
Okay, I
That
don't
is
know
quite
about
the
this.
game on your phone right now.
I don't know about this.
A few
game.
months later might not be, but who
I
knows?
cannot envision a scenario in which you and your husband would not enjoy Wreck-It Ralph tremendously.
We will watch it. We'll watch it this evening.
Yeah.
Last night we watched Hush. That
Oh,
was
yeah, I
really
got-
good. Have you seen
Very
Hush?
similar movie. I've not seen Hush. No.
Oh man, that's one to see. That's
Really?
on Netflix.
Okay.
It's a good horror.
I'm gonna
movie, I
recommend
heard.
this right now, and it's kind of like oh gosh, I can't even think of the Before Dark or something Before Dark. But basically, this woman is being stalked and she's deaf and she cannot speak, and so like the movie
like a
is
nightmare.
mainly like kind of in a silent tone
Mhm.
because she
It's
can't.
called
yeah.
Hush.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's not called
It's
Speak Up.
really good.
It's not
It's like
called
a
Louder.
horror,
I can't hear you.
dark thriller. I'm probably gonna love it. It's been on my queue.
I was shouting at the screen many a times last night, so
okay.
and
okay, I'm gonna
terrified.
So should I do my second one, or are we? or
Yes,
is
go
it-
ahead.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Wreck-It
go on to the
Ralph.
second one.
Wreck-It
I like
Ralph
it.
is a fantastic
Should've
movie
won.
that you all should have liked.
I liked Brave though. I will defend Brave and say I thought it was good. I like I like that it was a different story, and she wanted to be, her own person, and
That's
not,
it's every
that's nice.
animated film to me. But
Really?
maybe the reason I don't like it that much is because I felt like it really robbed Wreck-It Ralph of an Oscar, which is a weird kind of thing not to like a movie for. But I think Anderson has that a lot with certain movies that, he thinks people should have won acting awards or other awards for. And instead it went to Adrian Brody, for The Pianist.
Yeah, but we also have to think about like the campaign that people do to win and things like that. And it's not just about who's best.
You're right.
Unfortunately.
Well, please see Wreck-It Ralph so we can talk about it.
All right.
Cars features a Paul Newman in his final role as Doc Hudson.
It does.
He had a couple of voiceovers after that, but they were like as himself. Like his final role was as Doc Hudson in Cars. Other notable final role in film, John Cazale as Stosh in The Deer Hunter. Have you guys seen The Deer Hunter?
I have not.
I've seen the Russian roulette scene.
It's intense.
It's with De Niro, right?
It is with De Niro and a young Christopher Walken. Mm-hmm. This won Best Picture, directed by Michael Cimino, who just died. He just died as of this taping a couple days ago. More importantly, John Cazale, I don't know if you guys know this trivia about him. I think I find this, in terms of film trivia, this is one of the most fascinating bits I've ever come across. He was only in 5 films. He died of cancer right after he finished shooting his scenes for The Deer Hunter. In fact, the director, Michael Cimino, rearranged the shooting schedule because Cazale, who was so sick, couldn't complete the film. And so he's like, I'm going to shoot all your scenes first. And his fiance, who they died before they got married, was, or their fiance or boyfriend, girlfriend, but either way, up here, was Meryl Streep, and she's in the film as well. And they shot all of their scenes first so that he could actually, complete the film, or at least his part of the film. And then he died, and the studio at the time said, we can't make this movie with John Cazale. It's uninsurable. What happens if he dies and ruins the movie? Robert De Niro, who was a huge star at the time, said, I'll put up the money personally to insure him. So if something happens to the movie, we need to recast it or reshoot, it's on me. And so he stepped up, and they rearranged the shooting schedule, and John Cazale ended up being in the movie. And back to the interesting, fascinating bit of trivia, John Cazale was in 5 films in his career. He only lived to work in 5 films, all of which nominated for Best Picture.
Whoa.
He was in The Godfather. He was in The Conversation. He was in The Godfather Part 2. He was in Dog Day Afternoon. And he was in The Deer Hunter.
Damn.
All of which nominated for... And John Cazale never nominated for an Oscar himself, despite being fantastic in all of those movies. He was even 6... Those are 5 for 5. He was even 6 for 6 if you include his archival footage in The Godfather Part 3.
Wow.
Which is unbelievable. That'll never happen again. That will never happen again.
Wow.
That's crazy.
My mind is blown
That's
right
insane.
What is The Deer Hunter about?
The Deer Hunter, the reason
Coming
it's
back
called,
from war.
Yeah, the reason it's called The Deer Hunter is the first act. It's in 3 acts. The first act of the film is these friends in Pittsburgh, De Niro and Christopher Walken, and a couple, Cazale and another guy or two. I'm drawing a blank right now, but they're friends, and they drink. They work in the mills, and they work in a quarry, or they work in the mills. I forget, but they're blue collar guys, and they drink at this hunting lodge, and they hunt deer, and they're hunters, and they're friends. And then, of course, Vietnam happens, and they'll get drafted to war. You smash cut from the bar, from them all having fun, to literally they're in the middle of a huge battle in Vietnam. It's a very intense scene. And then, of course, the Russian roulette, they get captured, and then a POW camp, the Russian roulette, they're kind of being tortured. And then Act 3 is them sort of reassimilating back into home. And Christopher Walken never made it back. He's still in Vietnam, and he's actually been kind of brainwashed. He's doing like Russian roulette now for money, basically, like cockfighting, but Russian roulette version. He's a huge celebrity because he's when I say huge celebrity, he's well known in these underground circles because he's this American soldier who now does Russian roulette for money. And De Niro goes back to get him, and that's the third act of the movie, and it's intense. It won Best Picture. It's a good movie.
I mean, I've heard of, just like all these great films, I've always heard of them, and then I just haven't had the opportunity to see them.
It's heavy too. This is not a movie you would enjoy. You can appreciate it, but you're not going to come away with. It's not Wreck-It Ralph. You're not going to come away with it and be like, wow, I just saw the best movie.
There's no Pac-Man.
There's a Duck Hunter reference. If you know what I mean. Is it Duck Hunt or Duck Hunter?
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt. Okay,
Yeah.
There's a Duck Hunt reference.
Oh, okay.
If you know
there
what I
you
mean.
go. It's basically the same as Wreck-It Ralph.
So anyway,
That's your movies. Cool.
Let's see if I have anything written down else about Michael Cimino. Yes, he died. John Cazale died in March of '78 before the film was even finished. So
when did it come out?
I believe it came out in the fall of '78. It came out in '78 for sure, but
Okay.
I'm gonna say the fall.
Okay, cool. Cool.
And yeah, that was John Cazale's final role. 5 for 5 in terms of movies he was in being nominated for Best Picture. Will we ever see anything like that again?
No.
No, I don't think we will. I just remember this movie being mentioned in, do you guys see Jarhead?
Yes, we just talked about this on
that's
our war
right.
episode.
We sure did.
We did.
And remember the guy's wife sends him a tape and they say,
Yes.
oh, she sent us The Deer Hunter. And
Yeah,
I'm
how
like,
dare she?
Oh,
That
I've been to
bitch.
see that movie. And then it's
Anyways.
Super
or
depressing.
some guy. Yeah, anyway. So
My
yeah,
goodness.
There you go. Bringing it back full circle to other episodes, as always.
So we're going to link off of Toy Story 3, and we're going to do, our link is awesome ensemble movies. I switched mine. I told Stacy I was going to do The Italian Job. Then I realized I'd already talked about The Italian Job. So now I need to restructure. I'm going to go with Ocean's 11, which we haven't talked about on this show.
I'll be in Vegas in 24 hours.
Congratulations.
Are you going to rob a casino?
Thinking about it.
Okay.
Which
At
one
the
are you
craps
going
table.
to?
Wink.
Yeah.
Treasure Island. We're doing a show there.
Oh, fun.
So it's a work trip.
Oh.
Well, they're paying me to play craps.
Okay. Well,
That's the
then
way
that
I look
works.
at it.
That works. This is starring George Clooney, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, Scott Conn, Casey Affleck, Bernie Mac, Elliot Gould, and some other people. Carl Reiner.
A whole bunch of people.
Some others. Some guy that's
Scott
crazy
Conn and Casey
gymnast.
Affleck. Did you say that?
Yeah, they were great. You know that was supposed to be Owen
Coen-
Wilson and Luke Wilson?
I heard it was supposed to be the Coen brothers.
Ooh, that could
Joel
have
and
been
Ethan Coen in a rare acting appearance.
Yeah, any of those I can imagine.
Yes.
Because I love their little, like, brother chemistry.
I think they got it right what they ended up with. I think that
They
was
I do too. I
If you
really
put all
like Scott
those-
Conn
yeah.
for some reason.
He's a balloon boy.
He's so
I'm gonna
short.
do balloons.
My mom loves him because she loves. Isn't he on Hawaii Five-0?
Yeah,
She
whenever
loves the
that
show
one.
and she loves him,
Yeah.
even though he's short. He's adorable, and she likes short, adorable men. So she's
Okay.
really into it.
Let's go off of Scott Conn, talk about Varsity Blues. Speaking of
Yes.
ensemble casts. No,
There
sorry,
you go.
Back to Ocean's 11.
Allie
Varsity
Larder.
Blues, that is a good ensemble right there.
The budget was $85 million, made $450.7
huge
million
hit.
at the
Huge-
box
remembering a huge
office.
hit. I think it was Steven Soderbergh's most successful movie. Well, actually, I have no. Maybe
Huh.
Ocean's 12 made more money, because it was a sequel and blah blah. But this is a better
Yeah,
movie.
he directed that too.
Yeah, he directed all three of them.
I liked 13
I did not see
best.
13.
Like, I would go 11, 13, 12.
Oh, you're such a hipster.
That's what I would do.
See,
That's what
everyone
I
has
would
so
do.
many problems with 12.
12 sucks.
I never had problems with
Yep,
12.
I do.
really liked it.
I had problems with it as well, but I loved when they did the whole Julia Roberts
No,
I
thing.
think-
no, that's
see,
the
I think
worst
that was
part.
brilliant.
That's
that
the
was-
worst
that
part.
was great. That was such a.
Why don't they all just go, well, hey, look, it's Brad Pitt. Hey,
Yeah.
it's Matt Damon. Wait a minute, you
Well, 'cause
look like
obviously
George
they
Clooney.
exist in a world. Okay, stop. We'd all unravel at that point. But that's. I thought that was so inventive, and
That was not inventive.
It really
That's
was.
the
I
opposite
did,
of
I loved
It's
it.
inventive.
the opposite of inventive.
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
liked it a
this
lot.
is brilliant. Bruce Willis played it so well. Oh my gosh. I was like, this is so meta. I
She
don't-
looks just
ugh.
like her.
Yeah. It was so funny.
But back to Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Back to the good one.
That was a
Ocean's
really
11.
well plotted movie. That was a
Mhm.
super well written movie. Considering they had to develop, I would say of the 11 main characters, 12 or 13 main characters, at least half of them are really well developed as characters, and that's hard to
Right.
it's hard to do in a movie with 5 characters, let alone 13 or 14 main characters. Let's talk, of course, about the Andy Garcia character, and I'm including him, and I'm including Julia Roberts, and also the plotting was just perfect, just airtight,
Right.
perfect
What I like
for
about
what
it,
it tried to accomplish.
it seems like you could actually pull, like, if you are smart enough, like, this is a heist that could actually be pulled off, in my opinion. Like, it's fantastical, but
Yes, I agree. Yeah,
but it's
plausible.
close enough
Sure,
to
sure.
be plausible.
Everything they explained for the purposes of the movie made sense. It wasn't like, oh, come on, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
They buried a gun there. Everything they explained made sense in the context of the film.
I love the chemistry that the men have and these little like inside jokes, and they're so in sync. You can tell they're such good friends, and they've done all these cons together because like I forget the Asian character's name, but how he like it's not explained what he like, they don't have really subtitles for him, and then like Rusty knows what he's saying,
Yeah.
and they're like, how does Rusty know?
It's a real Chewbacca
Yeah.
Han Solo kind of
Yeah, exactly. It's totally
vibe.
like that. And so, and you're like, how do they know what each other's saying? And I love that. They never talk about it. It's just what it is. And you're like, well, he probably just knows what he means in general. You know what I mean? Like
He
just
can
knows
read
'cause
body
they've been-
language really
yeah, he read
well.
body language.
I mean,
He
that's
just
it.
knows. And they've just been together so long and done so many of these scams together that they're just like totally one mind. I love it.
Mhm.
It's great.
I like how I went from the Italian Job to this because it's basically the same movie.
Yeah.
Italian Job
in a
underrated.
sense. I love Italian
It's a
Job.
good movie.
I love it too. What were we talking about? Sasha Pearl Raven was on
Raver.
our show. We were talking about Raver. Sorry. She was on our show and she knows she dated the guy who was the body double for Edward.
Or she knows someone.
Norton, or knows someone. And he hated doing that movie. He didn't want to do it. And so at every scene where you don't see his face, it's the
It's
body double.
someone
is the
else.
person.
But wasn't that like shot on location? Oh, never mind. I only part of it was in Europe.
and
but
then the rest was in Los Angeles.
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's right.
Anyways, Ocean's 11, guys.
Ocean's 11.
I loved it.
Good.
That's
Great.
it.
One of the best remakes.
Great.
I own that movie. I agreed with that. I agreed with one of the best remakes of all time.
For sure.
Indeed. Let's go to
I
yours,
picked-
Stacy.
This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I feel like it's a classic choice, but Reservoir Dogs. I mean,
Yes.
you know, who doesn't love a good heist gone wrong Steve Buscemi movie?
Steve Buscemi movie. Is that how you're describing it? No, he is. He's in it. I just watched this recently. I love this movie. I own this movie. I was a huge Tarantino fan. You know, in my formative years
Still?
as a teenager. Less now, but as much of his early movies. You know, that
Okay.
hasn't really faded for me.
Mhm.
But this movie has lots of flaws, but it's still great. It's one of those great flawed movies. Like you forgive all of its flaws just
Right.
because it's so raw and so the not the heart, but the balls behind it. I guess for lack of a better term, it's
Yeah.
just, it's almost a force of nature. This movie.
Yeah. It's just it comes out guns blazing, and it's not a heist movie because you don't see the heist.
Right.
You don't know what happened. It's all the aftermath, and it's all about the characters and how they react to things and work together and fight each other. And that's, like you said, super ballsy. Like what other movie is like that? It's really, really crazy. It came out in '92. It only made 2.8 million at the box office, which I thought it made more than that. But it was like an indie, like,
yeah, I don't think a lot of theaters showed it.
It's his first movie, right? It's Tarantino's
First
film.
directed movie. Yeah.
Yeah, first directed movie. Starred Harvey Keitel, Tim Roth, one of my favorite actors of all time. He's so amazing. Michael Madsen, Chris Penn, Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Tierney. And it won a bunch of like Spirit and Film Festival awards and stuff. It wasn't nominated for any Oscars, which I don't know why. I thought it was nominated at least for
Probably
best
just
screenplay or
like
something, but
wasn't really thought of because it was so little.
yeah. 'Cause
It
was
also
such a small,
it predated a lot of the groundswell of support for independent movies. This was a movie that really
Yes.
kind of launched a lot of the support for independent movies. It was only a few years later that I think it was like '96 or somewhere around there, where every film nominated for Best Picture was like an independent film, except for Fargo, which felt like an independent film. Like
Yeah.
it was a real movement towards independent, like indie movies, and this movie kind of helped kickstart the whole thing. I think it was Harvey Keitel who helped get this made because he liked the role so much and took the role and was like, I'll either put in the money himself or helped raise like a few $100,000, which wouldn't have gotten made without it.
I do
Supposedly.
like that Pink has said that the reason she chose that stage name is because of Mr. Pink.
Is that true?
right? Yeah.
Yes.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
I want to do a lot of
I
Pink
saw them
research.
like a documentary.
I like that. I like
Pink.
that Madonna gave Quentin Tarantino some sort of album of hers and was like, my song is not about what
Yeah.
you think it
It's
is.
She
It's
liked
about
the
love.
scene. She was like, your interpretation of my song
is wrong.
It's about love. And the film's budget was so low that a lot of the actors just wore their own clothing, like Chris Penn's track jacket, which I love that one. I want that really bad. Where it was like
You
leather
know he
pants.
wears that all the time.
Oh,
Indeed.
for sure. And then
With the
black,
pants.
Yeah, the black suits were provided by a designer for free, but then Steve Buscemi wore his own black jeans instead of suit pants. He was like, I'm gonna wear jeans. And then Tim Roth would lay in that pool of blood for so long that he had to be literally peeled off the
Gross.
concrete, and it took like several minutes.
Yeah,
to
because
do
that's corn
that.
syrup.
Yeah, because it'll get so sticky, and you know his hair like stuck to there. Like they probably had to like pour
Sure.
warm water and wash it all away.
As much as I do love Tim Roth, he had real problems with an American accent in that movie. Real problems. But he's great. I like him as an actor.
Yeah, like when he does the.
Why couldn't he just be British? Why did he have to be American?
I love his British accent.
I do too.
Yeah.
I wonder that a lot of times,
What? I
like
think
when
of-
you
'Cause
cast, like, why
it's a
not?
Cop, and you can't be foreign and be a cop, right?
What?
Here.
You
Let's
can't?
just move on. Let's just
I
move
don't know.
on.
We
Don't,
shouldn't
don't
talk about
acknowledge
cops.
that. Don't
Brought it up.
acknowledge that.
I
Do not
don't know.
acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Hey, question. Have either of you seen Wolfpack? Wolfpack. It's a
No.
documentary.
Oh yeah, I have. Yeah, didn't like it.
Because
No.
Reservoir Dogs was an inspiration for the family.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen all of it.
I wanted it to be so much better than it was. I had high hopes. I think it was even
Yeah.
on a preview episode we did for Film Vault, possibly a Sundance preview, and it was like, wow, this looks really good.
Yeah,
And
it's
it
about these
wasn't.
kids that have just like basically grown up in captivity, and then like movies are what they know of the real world. So they dress like the Reservoir Dogs when they go out.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
they
this
only
is
are
real?
allowed out
Like, this
once
is a
like a
documentary?
year.
These
This
are
is
a
a
group
real
of like
thing?
five
This is a-
brothers
this
or
is a
something like that.
documentary,
Yeah,
yes.
real who grew up in I think Brooklyn or in New York.
Yeah, New York.
And they were rarely let out of the house. Like they're pretty much were confined to their house. They're very secluded,
Why?
and all they know of the real world is pretty much movies.
Yep.
And they
That's like
recreate
me.
movies and reenact them and do the whole
Yes.
thing.
Wow.
Reservoir
Why weren't they
Dogs.
let out of the house though? Like what?
I think
like
they're really overprotective parents,
Right.
But then they let them watch Reservoir Dogs.
right?
Like that.
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
make
It's
sense.
like
I'd
a
rather go the
super-
other way. Like stay outside all day, never watch this movie, never watch these violent movies.
Yeah, be in
Right.
beautiful nature and don't watch violent films where someone cuts off someone's ear. Do they try and like cut off people's ears on the subway?
I don't
No,
remember
but they
if
definitely make
reenacted
an
that part.
impression on people.
Yeah, they're weirdos. Fun/sad fact: Steve Buscemi never nominated for an Oscar. Never even nominated.
Really?
He-
Not even for Fargo?
I think we would all agree that Steve Buscemi is one of our finest actors.
He
and
really is.
not nominated for an Oscar.
Guys,
Underappreciated.
And a lot of his roles are these like outlandish
Mm-hmm.
characters, crazy and dark and funny. And if you watch Boardwalk Empire, it's a straight, very serious role, just an incredible story. You know, of
Maybe
this
an Emmy
character
for
in
him.
over years.
Maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
he for sure won an Emmy. He absolutely did, and then he apologized for. I think they kill. Or I've seen all of Boardwalk Empire, so I don't want to spoil anything. But he like apologized for like someone's death in his speech. of
Someone
next week.
dies? Spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
Someone dies in Boardwalk Empire about Atlantic City in the 20s. Yeah, with a lot of gangsters. There's lots of death. But he is an incredible actor in just the entire broad spectrum, and his dramatic capabilities are really showcased in Boardwalk Empire. So you guys need to watch that if you haven't seen it on HBO. But it's Scorsese. He's the executive producer, and also
He's the check writer. That's what executive producer
he's a check writer
means
for sure.
to me.
But
Also a
his-
check collector
his
at the end of the
stamp is on
day.
it.
Yeah,
Mark
well-
Wahlberg is also a producer on that show too, so it's got a lot of grit to it. Yeah, for sure. But anyway, yeah, that's Reservoir
you go.
Dogs. Yeah, one of the best ensemble casts. They were all incredible, and I just love the heightened sense of intensity and what's going to happen. And that was all about that ensemble. So
I'd have to look at IMDb, but I think that kind of introduced the world to Steve Buscemi a little bit. I mean, I think he was around
I
before
think
that. But I think
so.
that was his kind of his breakout. Like he became a huge indie star after that,
mm-hmm.
if I remember correctly.
I think so.
I would guess that.
Yeah, let's go with that. Hashtag fake facts.
Mhm.
Always.
Always.
do that.
Always
Mhm.
the fake facts.
Always.
All right,
Alright.
so we went from Finding Dory, then we went to Pixar films where a character is lost and needs to find their way home, and we did Cars as well as Toy Story 3. Off of Toy Story 3, we linked to awesome ensemble casts with Ocean's 11 and Reservoir Dogs. And off of Cars, Brian.
It was animated film nominated for Best Animated Feature but did not win, which I talked about Wreck-It Ralph. And it was the final performance in Cars, Paul Newman, and I talked about John Cazale in The Deer Hunter.
Very nice.
Mhm.
So now we are coming to the end of our show. We're going to do movie link tweets. I tweeted out, what is your favorite Pixar movie where the characters need to find their way home? Got a few back. Travis of Marble says Toy Story. Anthony Tobias, Up. Stephen Molowski says Finding Nemo. Matthew Johnston, Inside Out. Colby Bain, Toy Story 3. Matt Graham says Toy Story 2 and Inside Out. And Terry Shilto says Wall-E.
Does Wall-E count?
I don't really know if Wall-E counts because
I'm a huge Wall-E fan.
I
but
know.
I,
I
don't know if it counts.
thought of that too because I wasn't quite sure
Although,
if he was trying to find his way.
but the other
back
one,
to Earth.
Eve was trying to find her way. Trying to find her. No, it doesn't count.
But the ship itself, I mean, they're waiting to go back home, so I don't know. I'm not
Who
sure.
was that? Who said that?
Terry.
Terry, you're the
Shilto.
worst.
Terry, fun fact: Sigourney Weaver also a voice in Wall-E. She's like I think she's the ship's voice, or
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know, but,
She is a voice in Wall-E. Yeah,
and also in Finding Dory. Oh my gosh! Whoa, full circle.
it is
Yes,
the
full
circle of life.
Da, 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 da. Okay, cool. So now we're gonna go to our Kevin Bacon. link.
Yes.
So Kevin Bacon was in Mystic River with Sean Penn, who was in Pauly Shore is Dead with Ellen DeGeneres, who was in Finding Dory.
There you
So
go.
There you go.
Sean Penn, brothers with Chris Penn, R.I.P.
Yes. Oh, Chris Penn he was so good.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, I'm so sorry that he died.
He'd be a great character actor today. He'd be all over movies.
Yeah, I always remembered him because I saw Rush Hour before I saw Reservoir Dogs.
As most
Rush
people
Hour,
did.
Yeah, Rush Hour is 98, right? So
I never saw Rush Hour
first because it was like PG. Or is Rush Hour rated R?
Lies.
But it's way less violent. So I was allowed to see Rush Hour
I've never seen Rush
before
Hour.
I saw
Oh, man.
Reservoir Dogs. So I knew him from Rush Hour before I knew him from this. But
Nice.
anyway, okay, yeah. Well, R.I.P. Chris Pitt.
And now Stacy is going to be doing a terrible impression of Rocky. If you listen to the show,
Oh,
well, it's not terrible. I guess I'll say it's not terrible.
No, it's pretty bad, but I enjoy doing it. So this
I
is a
wanted to
line-
get the Sigourney Weaver line. Hello, I am Sigourney Weaver, and like whatever her monologue is, but I couldn't find that because
Thank
it's
you
still.
for visiting the marine biology, wildlife preservation.
It just I
I
couldn't
love
find
that
it. I
ongoing
couldn't find
joke
it.
of. Okay,
So,
yeah.
we have Sylvester Stallone as Rocky as Dory.
Yes.
You don't need to turn off your mic because you're still going to talk.
So it's my friend Sigourney once said, "Rescue, rehabilitate, yo, release."
That's pretty
Thank
great.
It was really bad. It's okay though. It's okay. You can
That's good.
be honest in your review of that. But yeah, that's Rocky.
There it is, guys.
There we go.
Brian,
There it
thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for
I'm
having
so
me.
excited.
This was a lot of fun. I'll hopefully do it again in a few years.
For
Yeah,
sure.
you know, when you're available
Yeah,
next.
ask me in January, sometime around July. We'll get it done.
When the baby graduates high school.
Oh, Christ.
You
Brian
know.
will be there at the
Yeah, Brian
graduation.
will be there at the graduation.
I
I
will.
remember you.
Where can we find you? Tons of places.
Well, at my house in West LA, but for
Okay.
most everyone else, you can find me on Twitter at BaldBryan, Instagram at BaldBryan, Brian with a Y, by the way. And if you like movie talk and you want to hear two dudes talk about movies, check out the Film Vault. There's old episodes. You can probably track down your old episodes, right? Episodes that feature you, I'd imagine.
You probably can.
with some effort.
I don't know if you'd want to.
Well, check
But,
out
hey.
the Christmas episodes from the last couple of years.
Yes.
Brian makes an appearance. And
This
in the
past year was a little crazy.
It was
Little crazy. Little
fantastic. It
hairy.
was really awesome. If you want to listen to Film Vault, AndersonandBryan.com. Brian again with a Y.
Very nice.
Or just type the Film Vault into Google. It's not that hard to find.
Yeah.
It's
for God's
not.
sake.
It's,
You'll find it.
you guys are consistently in the top 5, top 10 of iTunes
Are we?
movie chart. Yeah.
I have not.
Yeah. I know you don't
this
pay
This is going to
attention.
sound like false modesty. I have literally no idea. I have no idea. But that's awesome. I'm
Which
glad
is
to hear that.
good because like the landscape of iTunes TV and film is so broad now because of all the recap
There's so
shows.
many.
and
Yeah.
It's
Or- and
gone
the
crazy.
The preview show, like
Yes.
I'm sure that Star Trek, Beyond
Yeah.
has a podcast out now. Every movie
Right.
that's coming out has a podcast, which is absurd.
And they don't have subset of categories.
Exactly.
So the fact that you guys are consistently in the top
Wow, that's
5,
awesome.
top 10 is really good.
Sweet. Well, thanks
Yeah.
for listening.
Yeah,
I
for
assume you
sure.
listen. So
Right.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Of course.
Hey,
of course.
Stacy, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at SOHoward2012. Just live tweeting movies.
That's so Howard 2012.
Well, it's my initials actually, Stacy Olivia. But
Okay.
everyone thinks it's like So Howard, so I'll go with it. But and also on Instagram at StacyOHoward. All about the initials.
There you go.
Where can we
And
find
Snapchat,
me?
right?
Yeah, I'm on Snapchat. Stacy O'Howard. Yeah, same thing. Just
Sweet.
snapping away, snapping my life away.
Right.
You know?
I live vicariously through your vacation
Yes.
snaps.
Vacation snaps are
Yep.
always the best.
Mhm.
A lot of booze, a lot of food, a lot of just lounging about. I'm a lazy vacationer. My whole family is. So, yeah, it's just a lot of like poolside things. So,
There you go.
hashtag bikini top.
Click,
Where
click,
can we-
click.
Where can we find you, Brian?
You can find me all day, every day, and sometimes more on Twitter at Miss Movies. You can also find me Instagram and Snapchat Miss_movies. Got to get that underscore. Someone already
Is
got
underscore
it.
spelled out?
Yeah.
Is it Miss? UND, oh, yeah. Is it underscore?
UNDERSCORE.
Okay, so look for her there.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna create like just a Twitter
A
handle,
parody
just
account.
underscore. Yeah, parody account.
You have a parody account. What is it? Harry
Do
Bryan?
I do. I don't think Harry Bryan's posted in quite some time, but there was a Harry Bryan. It was a picture of it was an old. Oh God, it was a very embarrassing old jock photo of me from the radio days. But it had long, flowing blonde locks. It's pretty
Wait,
good.
blonde? Really?
Oh, there was actually a better parody account. It might be the same guy for all I know. Called BaldBryan's Tumor, and it was just
yeah,
it was
yeah,
like an
yeah.
evil BaldBryan. It was just horrible things. It was
that's
pretty clever actually.
Because Brian had cancer.
That's right.
Oh.
BaldBryan's Tumor. The account loves the King's Speech. He thinks it's the
Paul
best
Bryan.
movie of all time.
Bryan is also a best-selling author. Did you
please.
know this?
Don't bury the lead.
New York Times best-selling author. So check out his book, guys.
Oh yeah, check out Shrinkage. That's available on wherever finer books are sold.
Amazonian something, probably.
Yeah, probably some Amazon site.
Very
Yeah,
good.
There you go.
Thanks for having me. You guys had a lot of fun.
Thanks for
Yeah,
coming
thanks for coming
So
on.
exciting. All right.
And thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Do this every time. Do this every time.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
6 Degrees of Feature Film is produced by StacyOHoward and me. Special thank you to Ken Knapsack for our intro and Matt Brown for our artwork.